What's up, guys? How are we doing? Today we are going to be talking about 2025 classic sequel, Happy Gilmore 2. Now we're going to talk about the positives, we're going to talk about the negatives. Let's dive right into this. The first thing first, I was very nervous about this movie. Saw the trailers, wasn't impressed. Didn't laugh, not even once. So I was worried about it. These happened a lot where they have a really a classic first movie, and then years later they try to do a sequel, and it's just not the same. Again, the comedy doesn't land, or some of the actors, the jokes are outdated. um I mean, it happened in Dumb and Dumber. It happened with Anchorman as well. Just movies that should never have a sequel. Was Happy Gilmore going down that path? From the looks of it, from the trailers, it did look like that way. Um, but first things first, let's talk about the positives in the movies. Um, Positives in the movie. Comedy, was it there? It had some hit or misses. Most of the time, I really didn't find myself laughing, but the cameo, it was cameo galore. If you like cameos, this is the movie. It seemed like Adam Sandler put every single person he knew to man in this. I mean, you have pro golfers, you have friends, comedians, ESPN analysts. Do you have musicians? I mean, like you have Eminem in one scene. So you have all that. I think they had over 70 cameos in this movie, which is crazy. So if you had fun kind of going ahead and picking out who's who, and which I to be honest with you, I did enjoy that part of the movie, was trying to find out who was the cameo or who that person was, or oh, look who it is. It's Steve Buscemi, and look how old he looks and stuff like that. I think you guys will enjoy that. That's what I liked. Another thing was the callbacks. The callbacks, to be honest with you, was it was the nostalgic bait, but it worked for this movie. So I really enjoyed just having all the callbacks from the original. It was trying to please both fans, the new fans and the old school fans. Hence why they kept on having the callbacks, but they kept on showing you a screen, a spot where it was like, hey, this guy was in this movie. This is who he is now. Or, hey, remember this guy? Well, here's a clip from the first one. And oh, there he is now in the second movie. So I get that part. But the callbacks were really nice. I thought they were good. Some movies tend to do that, and it doesn't work. For this movie, it actually worked, and I enjoyed it surprisingly. Um, Overall, the movie really surprised me. Now, like I said, it's not something I would go back and watch again, but it was entertaining for the first and second half. Towards the third act, it started getting a little bit ridiculous. Again, the hockey part of it was not the greatest. It probably wasn't the strong suit of the movie. Let's and Shooter McGavin, um, Christopher McDonald knocked it out of the park. Loved seeing him come back as a role. Looked like he was having fun and enjoyed his part in the movie. So I had to say that was a really big positive. Now some of the negatives, I know it's part of the running joke, and spoilers if you haven't seen the movie, but it happens. It's the main plot almost of the movie, and hence kicks off the movie. uh I think it's like the first 3 minutes of the movie. Virginia Bennett, his wife, he kills her. He hits her with a golf ball. And I get it, it's the running joke from the original where his dad got hit with a hockey puck and ended up dying in the stands. She ends up getting hit by a golf ball. I just think it was kind of just like, it was just, I wanted to see more interaction with her, and the fact that she was put up, and it showed like she was going to be into the whole entire movie. And then they have flash scenes and dream sequences where I guess she uses gets used in, but it just sucked. Like it kind of dampered right off the bat, like the movie. I was like, that's kind of sucked. But it is what it is. Another thing that was kind of a negative was, we talked about it. just the ending, the golf system and how that worked, and the new type of golf that have they have going on, and you know, this guy is coming in trying to make golf more exciting, so he has kind of like it's kind of like a bougier way of playing golf. I didn't like it. You could have put a regular golf tournament and I would have been happy with it. Um, Another thing, this is probably my last gripe, was the Shooter McGavin thing between Happy Gilmore and him. I really thought personally it was just going to be Shooter gets out, gets back on the tour, they go rematch, and that could have been fine. I would have been okay with it. And you could have done away with all the crazy golf course they had at the end. But they joined together and they kind of work at it. So that's the only thing I didn't like. I wish it would have been Shooter versus Happy again. I think that would have been kind of cool. But other than that, like I said, the callbacks, everything else was very entertaining. I was entertained, and maybe it was because my expectations were very low for this movie already. I had no expectations. I've seen this before happen. I was like, okay, I know it. This is my expectations are high. It's gonna be bad. But like I said, went in no expectations. No, it's a dumb comedy. You know, if you're looking for a plot driven, it's not going to be like that. You know, this movie's not just like the first one. The first one was silly. It was dumb, fun, and that's how you go with it. And that's how you kind of approach these movies. So, I see a lot of negative stuff. I see a lot of positive stuff. I understand the negative and I understand the positive. It doesn't matter. You could, think there's too many cameos and still enjoy the movie. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie and I didn't think it was that funny. There was a couple parts I had, but it was nothing like the original one. The first one had me, dying laughing. So, but overall, if you go into like that with a positive mind, no expectations, I think you can really enjoy this movie. Like I said, I did. So let me know down below. What do you guys do? What's my final grade? I would give it a 6 out of 10. It's kind of like right in the middle. Something I wouldn't probably rewatch. I tried rewatching it. Um, like a day before yesterday, and it was like like I said, it was okay, and there's a few laughs, and I do like, to be honest, I really do like one scene where they're in the graveyard and Shooter's looking at Virginia Bennett's grave, and they end up fighting each other. But it was like a bunch of callbacks to people that passed away, to the Mista lady and Grandma and Chuck. I think that was a really cool, just a nice way to tie people that have passed away, give them a shout out, and I think it was really cool. So I like that. It's probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It was just those callbacks, and it was just like back to back. It was just constantly like they kept on fighting. They would go to another grave, and there was another person from the first one. Then you go to another grave. So I really like that a lot. So let me know, guys, down below. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.